Does Colorado have the most underrated transfers in college football? One insider thinks they do. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs, everybody. I am your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. There's no fork needed. Vanilla-y cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in the business. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 2 underrated transfers that popped up on Chris Hummer's 100 most underrated transfers in college football list. We're going to be talking about the biggest wins of the Coach Prime era, whether that be hires, portal additions, and then I'm going to do my best to project who will win the spring ball MVP on both offense and defense, because I saw that idea and I liked it. And I feel like I have a good idea of where spring ball is going to be trending, needless to say. So without further ado, let's talk underrated players. Chris Hummer releases a list of the top 100 players who flew under the radar in the portal. It's not the Sam Levitts of the world. It's not the Brendan Sorsbys or the Cam Colemans. It's like the guys who are, this first guy for Colorado ranked 884th in the portal, number 98th edge, and that's Vili T, San Jose State transfer. I believe is Tafua is how you pronounce his last name. I apologize if that's incorrect. Listen, the guy was a game wrecker. He gave Texas's offensive line some trouble. He got to Arch Manning a couple times. And this is what Hummer had to say about him. Former Utah signee out of a JUCO, Tafua, I believe is how you say it, I apologize, emerged as the Mountain West's top pass rusher last season with San Jose State. Finished the year with 34 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and a 71.6 PFF grade. And then one MAC director of recruiting said, quote, he's a sick pass rusher, huge kid with great length. And so I think if you're Colorado, you need, I think a lot of people were underwhelmed with Colorado bringing in a lot of group of 5 guys that were maybe didn't have 25 sacks or whatever. Like there was no BJ Greens out in the market this year that Colorado ended up getting. But I think people forget how pivotal having a great pass rush was for Colorado. I think that's why DJ McKinney, Travis Hunter, and Preston Hodge looked as good as they did, because their quarterbacks that Colorado were facing were having to force passes, and they were able to be a little bit more sticky because, they had no time to throw, right? BJ Green was getting to them. Arden Walker was getting to them. This past year was not the same case, right? Colorado went from leading the Big 12 in sacks to one of the lower sack totaling teams. I think they had 13 as a team or something along those lines. It was not pretty. So it's just one of those things where it's like you need a pass rush to win games. They had 13 total sacks. In comparison, in 2024, I believe they were in the 30s. Let me confirm. Yeah, they had 39 sacks. So they went from 39 sacks to 13. And Colorado's secondary felt it, right? The secondary was constantly getting exposed. The secondary was constantly getting just kind of picked on, because it was like, okay, I have all the time in the world to throw. And Vili is 6'3", 260-ish, out of New Zealand, was once ranked as a top 50 JUCO guy. Listen, he's disruptive, he's strong, he's fast. I expect him to be making an immediate impact for the Buffs this offseason. And I think the pass rush is going to be dramatically improved. Now, do I think that there's going to be like one guy where it's like, okay, he has 10 sacks, this guy has 8 sacks? I don't know, but it wouldn't shock me if there's a lot of guys, like say 7 different guys with 3 to 4 sacks. Like I feel like it's going to be by committee this year. The next guy that generated some buzz was Demetrius Hunter. Now, Demetrius Hunter is going to start at center for Colorado. He's replacing Zarian McGill, who was a top center in all of college football. You don't get many better centers than Zarian McGill. I think he had a top 25 grade, really good in pass protection, and was sort of the unsung hero of that offensive line. I don't think he got enough buzz. I think a lot of that went to Jordan Seaton just because of the name power, but Zarian McGill was by far, I don't know if he was the best, but he was by far 1B at worst. Like he was really good. Demetrius Hunter, his grades, not as great, but 2-year starter, 8-win team this past year. A Big 12 general manager said he started a lot of games in the Big 12. He should be able to maintain that level of success. They won 8 games with him. So the one thing that I noticed when I was looking into Demetrius Hunter was the fact that his run blocking grade was better than his pass blocking grade. Now, Houston ran the ball a lot. They were a very physical team. They had Dean Connors. Obviously, Connor Wigman was he was a good quarterback, but he was really effective with his legs, as Colorado learned. And I think Demetrius Hunter's sweet spot is running the football, as most offensive linemen, right? Most offensive linemen, you just want to run someone over. And so being in the go-go offense, and I'll make this joke because it's funny to me. You guys will probably roll your eyes, but you can't spell go-go without running the football. Like, you just can't. Like, the go-go offense is going to run the dang ball. And so Demetrius Hunter, it may play more to his strengths being in this offense. Because if you look at what Brendan Marion's offenses do, they run the ball, and they run the ball a lot. Last year at Sac State, he had 4 running backs. He had 1 running back or 2 running backs with over 90 carries, 3 running backs with 75 plus carries, and then 5 running backs with 35 plus carries. So guess what? Colorado's going to be toting the rock a lot. And I fully expect the offensive line to need that sort of physicality and push. And I think it'll play well into Demetrius Hunter's strengths rather than counting on him to just drop back. Like, if Demetrius Hunter was, say Colorado got Demetrius Hunter last year before 2025, not knowing that we knew the team was going to be bad, but I'd be concerned based on what I've seen, just because it's like, okay, we know Colorado's going to huck the ball 40 times a game. Can he pass protect 40 times a game? Right? It's not going to have to. I think we'll just taking the average of the top running back at Sac State, who had 188 carries on the year, like 188 divided by 12. Colorado, that's one guy running the ball 16 times a game. I think Colorado as a team, running back wise, was running the ball maybe 6 times or maybe around 16 times a game, not just one person. So it's going to be a lot more running the ball. They're going to be super physical. Look for a new brand and style of football in Boulder next year. We're going to take a quick break. When we do, I'm going to talk about the biggest hits of the Coach Prime era. And by hits, I mean the things that he's done really well at. I'm going to start off with the attention he's brought to the program. I'm going to start off with the star power and the changing of perception. And I'll get to a couple of recruiting wins along the way. But first, let's take a quick break. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at 5 Hour Energy. Guess what? They got some new flavors, and they sound delicious. They have 18 flavors to choose from. New options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone, really. The board is set. The flavors are ready, and I've got my number 1 pick for the 5 Hour Energy draft. Let's go Cotton Candy. It's a delicious swirl of sugary clouds, a fruity twist, a hint of vanilla, and it's light, airy, and a candy profile. I really like the sweetness. I just do. I gravitate towards sweeter things, and it gives you that extra boost. So 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with 0 sugar. Has a lot of flavor innovations planned, so that's even more exciting because they have a lot of great flavors now. They're going to get even more. So find your new flavor at 5 Hour Energy shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. This episode of Locked On Buffs is also brought to you by our sponsors over at FanDuel. Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into a reality with NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole shebang. If you're looking for an experience, if you're looking for the time of your life, and you love futures, and you want to predict who will win the NBA Finals, now's the time, because there's an extra layer of excitement, because there's every game down the stretch matters. And now, not only can you pick cash, but it can also send you to the NBA Finals. So visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use a profit boost on NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Also join our Everydayer Club at lockedonbuffs.supercast.com. Listen, we have a Discord. You can hit me up one-on-one. Be like, hey, I disagree with this take, or hey, I have a question for you. We could do questions from the Discord. You could also listen to these episodes ad free if you're on the go. So join our Discord or our lockedonpodcast.com every day, or join our Everydayer Club, excuse me. It's really cool. It's really fun. And I think you guys will enjoy it. Let's talk biggest wins of the Coach Prime era. Deion Sanders, and I talked about the losses yesterday, and I think some people agreed, some people didn't agree. But either way, Colorado is in a much better place with Deion Sanders than they were with the people that came before him. And Colorado, I mean, they reported a record revenue of $161.7 million in the fiscal year 2025. Their enrollment, their interest in the program has gone up. The local economy has surged by millions of dollars. He has done nothing but great things for the program. And although there's sort of a disconnect between him and the Colorado players of the past, I feel like he's really embraced the fans of Colorado. I mean, shout out to Miss Peggy. Like, Coach Prime has made her the queen of Boulder. And I just feel like he's done a lot of great things for the Colorado community, which that's a huge win for me. I love when coaches get involved with the places around them, because they don't always have to, right? At the end of the day, this is a job for him, and he doesn't even really need a job. Coach Prime could have never worked a day in his life again after retiring from the NFL, and we could have never seen him again. But he's gotten back out into the world. He's helped out, and I love what he's done for Colorado. Now, he's also, and I'll pair this in, he's also attracted new levels of talent, blue chip recruits. So that there's that. The biggest win for me, or the biggest hit, excuse me, of the Coach Prime era is just the entire Travis Hunter experience. It's one thing to get him to go to Jackson State with you, right? I feel like Travis Hunter was willing to be different. He wanted to play for Coach Prime. But when he transferred to Colorado, money was on the table, NIL offers were flowing in, and Travis Hunter could have gone to any school he wanted to. And again, Coach Prime convinces him to follow him to Boulder. And Travis Hunter, I would say, and I think a lot of us would, instantly goes down as a program legend. I mean, plays thousands of snaps, leads college football in snaps, wins, I think it was 7 or 8 major awards. They don't make him like Travis Hunter, right? Having a player like Travis Hunter in your Rolodex of players for Colorado is huge, right? You can no longer tell the history of college football without mentioning Colorado two-way star Travis Hunter. So Coach Prime, getting him to Boulder, getting him to stay in Boulder, huge, right? Because he could have left again after his first year, but no, he stayed. He was dedicated. He loved every second of it. And I think the way they treated Travis Hunter on his way out, like they were like, you're a legend and we're letting you know that right away. We're retiring your jersey. I thought that was just chef's kiss, honestly. Another big hit to me of the Coach Prime era was just that first month, really. September 2023. I remember the first game of the year. I was watching from Joshua Tree, California. I forgot why I was there. It was at a family thing. And I was like watching by myself, and like I literally sprinted to, it was like an art studio in Joshua. I don't know why, in this Airbnb we're at. And I recorded a podcast because I had never felt such electricity. I had never felt such excitement over what was happening in college football. Like Colorado going on the road and beating TCU was huge. Then they had a thrilling game against Nebraska. They beat the brakes off of them after Nebraska made it a little personal. And then they win a thriller against Colorado State. And it, quite frankly, it was electric, right? I don't know if we will ever see that sort of buzz and excitement in college football history again. Like, it would literally take a straight up legend. Like, it would have to be like Patrick Mahomes. I don't even know if he's as big as Deion Sanders. Like, it'd be like a LeBron James, Michael Jordan level athlete, because I would say Deion Sanders is up there in terms of athletic status and popularity, coming to coach and just nailing it right out of the gate. So there's that. And then another big hit, and I'll conclude it on this one, because I feel like this is projecting a big hit, but I loved it. I mean, let's be real. After 2025, things were looking bleak for Colorado, right? There was some hot seat chatter for Coach Prime. I didn't necessarily agree with it. I think people are way too quick to put someone on the hot seat these days. But people were growing frustrated with him. And I don't know if it was because they were kind of flaunting this team in 2025 as better than the one with Travis and Shador and LeJounte and all those guys. But they said it would be better. They go 3-9. There was a little bit of a weird handling of the offense coordinator situation. They changed it, but they didn't tell anyone. And fans were just begging for something to change. The quarterback situation was a disaster. And I think a lot of people were like, has the magic worn off? Is the shtick up? And I'll tell you right now, I was not agreeing with those people, but I could see where they were coming from. That being said, the moment that the Brendan Marion hire was announced, it felt like there was a new life injected into the Colorado football program. And so Coach Prime, I mean, that might be the hire of the entire offseason, regardless of, I don't care if it's James Franklin going to Virginia Tech. Don't care if it's Matt Campbell going to Penn State, John Summerall going to Florida. I think the hiring of Brendan Marion may go down as one of the best hires in college football. So those are my 4 biggest hits of the Coach Prime era. Comment below which you think yours is. There's a lot to choose from. There's been a lot of fun moments in these 3 years. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to predict the 2 MVPs of the spring game because I think I have a pretty good idea of where things are trending.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. It was a heavyweight showdown between number 3 South Carolina and number 7 LSU, and the Gamecocks rose to the occasion. South Carolina secured a hard-fought 79-72 victory to stay atop the SEC standings, using a balanced offensive attack to outlast the Tigers. Tessa Johnson led the way with 21 points, while Raven Johnson added 19. Medina Okot dominated the paint with a double-double, finishing with 12 points and 17 rebounds, while Joyce Edwards chipped in 10 points to round out the scoring. With the statement win, the Gamecocks now turn their attention to a road matchup at number 23 Alabama on Thursday. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Thank you, Clea. Let's talk spring game MVPs because I saw this idea over at DNVR and I was like, you know what? I love that. I didn't end up seeing who they picked, but I just saw the idea and I was like, you know what? I feel like I want to dive into this as well because there's so many new faces. And let's be real, the dogs are trying to eat. Like, this team looks hungry. And I feel like every team looks hungry, but there's something different about these guys. Like, I feel like going 3-9 for Coach Prime in Colorado was the biggest wake-up call one could get because that was 9-4, excuse me, was supposed to be a building block year in the sense of like, this is good, excuse me. We're going to build off this, and this is going to be our baseline. And then they just plummeted. And it was like, oh, shoot. Like, where do we go from here? Because now we got to make coaching changes. We got to make adjustments on the players we bring in. And so they brought in a lot of interesting personalities, leaders, and I'm excited. That being said, spring ball is always interesting because I'll tell you right now, if I was only to pick one MVP, it'd be on the defense because defenses are typically ahead of the offense, especially in offense like the go-go. I don't want to speak on how complicated it is because I haven't seen the playbook. I don't know, but I know it's different than most offenses, excuse me. I think it's easier for easier for a defense to sort of just pick up where they left off because there's less, I won't say changes, but there's less parity, right? If you run a 3-4 defense, for the most part, your assignments will be the same wherever you go, right? There's going to be different verbiage and there's going to be different maybe alignments and plays, obviously, but nothing is as different as going from a straight up like for instance, we'll use Texas's DeAndre Moore as an example. Steve Sarkisian, very West Coast pro style offense, right? A lot of RPO stuff, and there's a big difference between the go-go, right? I think DeAndre Moore will fit just fine. He actually committed to play for Brendan Marion at Texas, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I think it's going to take guys a little bit. And that's why we've already seen a lot of pictures and videos of guys working together on the offense, because it's like, hey, we need to learn this. So if I was forced to pick one player, it'd be a defensive guy. Now, because I make my own rules and I'm picking 2, I'm just going to go based off of how I think spring football goes. I think Julian Lewis in the passing game will click eventually. I think it'll take a short amount of time for the passing game to get going in the run game, right? Even last year and the year before with Colorado's running backs, it always feels like the running backs shine first, right? Because it's just straight up. It's easy. Like you run the offense linemen, they know their assignments, they run, they run block. Whereas the passing game, it's like, okay, we got to communicate. We got to get the right checks in. We got to get the right whatever. And I just feel like I'm going to go with one running back. So if I had to pick a running back right now, I'm really gravitating towards Richard Young at Alabama. I don't know if I'm putting way too much stock in him, but I feel like his combination of size, speed, and big play abilities are what keep drawing me back to him. Like the run he has against Missouri, I think it was this year. I mean, just a mammoth of a person, and he has speed and he has like this breakaway big play potential that I don't think Colorado really has in the run game, or they haven't had it at least. And I think DeKalen Taylor could be that as well, but obviously he got hurt. But no, it was a run play. I'm looking it up now. It was in 2024 against Missouri. He had 3 carries for 63 yards with a long of 62. And that 62-yard run was physical. He was elusive. And I think he's a guy from the offensive side of the ball that I expect to really stand out. And he was an early draft pick in their spring ball draft, which they posted online, I think today. And then defensively, I had 2 guys that I was going to go with, or 2 guys I was deciding between, but I'm going to go with my gut and go with Randon Fontenette, the Vanderbilt safety linebacker hybrid guy. I feel like he brings so much to the table that his versatility is going to help him, right? I think he has the leadership abilities, which already helps, but he has the instinct, the intuition. He would play a key role for that Commodores defense. And I really expect him to sort of become a leader for this Colorado team. And they're going to have a lot of leaders, like Leona Lafau. Leona Lafau is going to be a leader. Tyler Martinez is going to be a leader. You have 3 linebackers really who could be green dot guys. And that's a great position to be in last year. Because last year, I don't know if you had a green dot guy on that team, right? And it's no shade at a guy like Quincy Wiggins, who was the green dot guy during spring, and there's no shade at whoever else was the green dot guys. But I think Randon Fontenette, his versatility gives Robert Livingston the freedom to get a little creative with him. It also opens up a lot of opportunities for other people. So those are who I think the MVPs will be. You guys comment below, because obviously the spring ball hasn't even started yet. It starts in 10 days, I think it is. Spring game's not until April 11th. So I'm excited to see what goes down. Let me know what you guys think. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, by the way. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. And I'll see all of you guys tomorrow. This has been Locked on Buffs.